my spot for doing it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It moves around.
I can imagine, you sit in the same pew every week, don't you? I know.
You sit on your couch.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. We have quorum present of the board, so we'll call it to order. And let's start out with some information from Kathy.
Yeah, I'd like to tell you about a few new employees that we have. So we have Heather Frugeau has been hired in our billing assistant position. Vanessa Wood has taken our nutritionist 1 position in WIC. Betsy Alvarez is rounding out the dental program with being the dental program coordinator. And then Brianna Gomble is a MOA in the clinic, and Skylar Messer is a clerical processing assistant. So we're getting some positions filled, which is exciting.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Before we go into the public comment, and I think we have 3 people signed up for public comment, I need to remind you that we do not discuss personnel issues in an open meeting to protect privacy and in accordance with state statutes. So if you have things to say about individuals or about positions that could be associated with individuals, then I will stop you during your discussion. If you have something in writing, we're more than happy to get a copy of that for our records, but we won't allow discussion of personnel issues. With that said, our first speaker is, I believe, Dr. Joanna Rosner.
Joanne Rosner.
Joanna
Yep.
Rosner.
And
You want to stand up so we can hear you?
sure.
Thanks.
So, my name is Joanne Rosner, and I'm a veterinarian in the community. I have a large presence in the rescue community I tried to retire and failed and work part-time. The rest of my time I spend pro bono doing work in the underserved animal community. I've done a number of free vaccination clinics at my own expense. And I'm here today, and if this crosses a line, you let me know, to recommend that we reinstate the certified rabies vaccinator status for Stephanie Pierce. Stephanie and I work together and get animals which would not ever be taken care of vaccinated. We take care of parasite prevention, and rabies vaccination is probably the absolute paramount public health consideration, since rabies is 100% fatal untreated. We never treat rabies in an animal because it's 100% fatal in people. And so vaccination is an enormous tool. Rabies is in our wildlife population. Rabies is in our community of unvaccinated, underserved pets. And giving a free rabies vaccination, and we also do distemper, hepatitis, leptospirosis, parainfluenza, and parvo to dogs, upper respiratory, and feline distemper to cats, is absolutely critical for health. Deworming. Feline and canine, particularly canine roundworms, which we furnish parasite control for, can cause blindness because of the aberrant migration of the parasite into a child's eye. Deworming is a simple thing. What I'm saying is the need we are serving here are people who don't have transportation. They can't take $7 out of their budget and drive to a vaccine clinic. Honestly, I vaccinate animals in my neighborhood that can't or won't, because of bad life choices bring their animals to a clinic. Allowing Stephanie to go out into the community and meet the needs of these pets not only impacts their health, but also the health of our citizens. And to be honest with you, what our community looks like. Stray, mangy animals on the road wouldn't make me want to reopen a business of my own. And so anything we can do to help these animals and these people is a benefit. The other issue I'd like to comment on is the issue of changing the structure of the Board of Health to an advisory one that then becomes advisory to decisions made by the county commissioners. As a scientist, as a person with multiple degrees and additional credentialing beyond my doctorate, I implore you to leave people with the appropriate training in the appropriate decision-making categories. There are decisions that have to be made based on scientific knowledge. And I think that to change that would not benefit the citizens of our county. So those are two issues. One, I'd like to see Stephanie reinstated as a rabies vaccinator so that we can reach more pets. And second, I'd like to come out against changing the structure of this board, where people who are not in a scientifically trained discipline make decisions on public health.
Next, Stephanie Price.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. I'm here today to speak to you about growing concerns in regards to public health and safety involving pets and strays. I spent 2 years working for animal control in Macon County. Those 2 years were incredibly eye-opening and life-changing. I learned quickly that animal control was looked at as the enemy and not someone to count on to show up or do anything. Those people weren't entirely wrong. It was clear that people within the health department didn't seem concerned in making improvements or trying to figure out why turnover was so high.
I'm sorry, we're getting into personnel
Okay.
issues now.
I can
If you could
skip
skip
that.
that part, please. Thank you.
Sure. Let's see. I made a lot of relationships in the animal medical field. I listened and I learned. I kept my head down. Now that I'm on the other side of it, on the rescue side, we face a different challenge, but the players are still the same. We are now contending with the no-kill movement in the shelter community. What this has led to is closed intake of the shelters, both of them. Both of our shelters in Macon County currently are turning away strays and surrenders. What this has led to is closed intake shelters consistently that are full, not accepting animals for whatever reason they may have. This leads to strays being left on the busy streets, in parks, or at playgrounds. These strays are often unsocialized, unvaccinated, and parasite infested. In April, I decided to take a leap of faith and start my own mobile rescue, offering resources to people that don't have anywhere else to go. I was fortunate enough to receive support from 2 local veterinarian offices for spay and neuter. I am now working on the details of our 3rd partner for spay-neuter. My rescue was meant to educate the public through community outreach in areas of the county where no resources are available, where people simply don't know how to advocate for themselves or their pets. Being able to reach out into those parts of our community where most don't venture to has helped me build solid relationships to the point where I am a trusted source of support. I believe that everyone should have access to basic care for their pets, no matter their social status. I am currently out in the community 3 days a week giving vaccines, including distemper parvo, lepto, FERCPs for cats. I assist with parasite prevention, thanks to some amazing donors that are making that possible. That has led to me being able to sign up 37 individuals that otherwise would never have had their pets spayed and neutered. That's what I intended to do, is to educate the public about spay and neuter and how access is possible. Then people started reaching out consistently because the shelter was no longer taking in strays. They were full. People were told to put them back where they found them or shoot them. I can't imagine thinking that's a viable solution. That's what's currently happening in our county right now. This is not humane or okay. I would like to have my certified rabies vaccinator status back for Macon County. I am qualified, responsible, and willing to do the extra work to make this county a little safer and healthier. I keep detailed records of everything I do, including the owner's pet's info. I am well aware of how important it is to keep proper documentation of these records and have the capacity to do so. I hope you will strongly consider supporting me to become a certified rabies vaccinator. Please feel free to speak to Dr. Lenzo as well. He recently volunteered at a free vaccine clinic I sponsored in Franklin. I believe this community can be a wonderful and safe place if you will allow it to be in the future.
And next up is Autumn Lucas.
Hi, everybody. If there's anything to do with animals, you know I'll be here. I just, because I don't like I was talking to you. First of all, I just wanted to...
I'm listening
Hi.
very closely.
I just want to thank all of you for being here because I know that, there's probably a million other things you'd rather be doing than here on a Tuesday. And I know it's often thankless and you get a lot of heat and hear a lot. But all of you have your respective, credentials and, thank you for doing what you do. As somebody who's been, I got a box turtle out of the road today and a bird. I'm that animal person, right? I'm just here to echo what Dr. Joanne and Stephanie are asking for, which is that we reinstate her status and ability to do what she does, which is tireless and, like you guys, often thankless and a headache, and going out and making this county better. Not just for animals, but for us people. And that's what all of us are here about. So I know she can be rough around the edges, but it is because she has seen more heartbreak than any of us care to. And, but she said it best in her own words. And, anybody who's willing to take that on, like you're willing to take on these positions, have at it, and please, to make this county great and make us all safer, let her do what she's good at, which is getting out there and doing everything she said she was going to do. I wasn't really aware of it, but I definitely concur too. On the second part, y'all are credentialed in what you do, and you should be the ones in that position of making the decisions that affect all of our health. So thank you for all you do, and I hope you'll take one public member's opinion in.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, that's all that have signed up for public comment. Next item is approval of the agenda. Matt, did you have any additional?
One addendum to new business. I'd like to add that we discussed our meeting schedule
Okay.
under new business.
Are there any other additions to the agenda? Okay, we need to add to the approval of minutes, our special meeting minutes that they have not been approved. I think you all received copies of that. So that would be added to the agenda also. Anything else that needs to be added to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as
I have a question.
yes.
Is that not on there at number 2? The approved minutes of previous meeting?
Yeah, but it only shows 5/27/25.
So that was Sunday, actually, so 5/17.
Yeah, 5/17.
No,
No.
so 5/27 was May's meeting.
Which was the last regular meeting.
So we're adding 7/17.
Yeah.
The special meeting.
The special.
7/17. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda. Dana?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. We have a couple of presentations this evening.
Hold on just a second, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
We haven't approved the 527 minutes.
We will when it comes up.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, we have a presentation on healthy living community events. Christine? Kirsten, I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Kirsten Smotherman. I'm the Public Health Education Specialist here at the Health Department, and today I'm going to be talking about a Healthy Living Community event and a Healthy Living Community program that I've been heading up for the last couple of years. So the first one, and it's included in your packets, is the duck hunt event. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the duck hunt, this is our physical activity initiative that we throw on every summer in Macon County for the last 3 years. And it's there to encourage individuals to get out in the community and explore local trails. So with this program, we take rubber ducks that are marked with the Macon County Public Health logo, and we go and place them along various different hiking, walking, biking paths throughout Macon County, primarily trails within the Franklin area and Highlands area, so we hit different areas of Macon County. And when the individuals find a duck, they get entered into a raffle for prizes that further encourage physical activity. We've had sponsors from the factory with jump cars, so that encourages further activity. We've had prizes for pool passes, punch cards from New Visions Training Center. So our goal is not only to encourage physical activity, but have the prizes also be something that keeps people active as well. And further on with that, we wanted to collect data last year and again this year to try to see, is this activity actually getting people to be more active? Is it actually motivating them to be more active? Before we get into that, some of the basic statistics on the first page. We did create a Facebook group to form people who were interested in participating to be able to access that group, gain clues, know which trails that they should be looking at and where to go. Last summer, our average membership was 74. We've doubled that nearly to 144 members this year. We also made partnerships with 4 new businesses and groups this year. So we have the Macon County Rec Pool, Highlands Pool, New Visions Training Center, and we also had Well Care this year as well, sponsor prizes. And we like to hide ducks on various different trails, so we're not just sticking to 1 or 2. We explored new trails this year that we wanted to point people to as well, because one of the goals is also to let the public know what are hiking and activity trails that are in the area. What are some different areas that they should be aware of in their community, some beautiful areas to hike and explore. And the pinnacle of the data that we wanted to collect was that activity. And of the survey participants, 84% of them who were aware of the duck hunt that found one increased their physical activity and said that they were motivated to be more active. And so it's every participant that finds a duck, they get entered into that raffle if they so choose, and then we are also surveying those who go out but may not be successful but still increase that physical activity. So we got the variety of data from all of them. And then the last page with the data on the duck hunt statistics, we do like to track how much of the ducks are actually found. And no program is perfect in the sense that we can never expect that 100% of the ducks are going to get picked up. Some people will pick up a duck and not care to enter the raffle. They just want to keep it and put it in their Jeep. Or just keep it and give it to their kid or a pet. And so, but we've had a higher turn-in rate this year than we did last year. Franklin always has a higher turn-in rate than Highlands, but again, we've had an increase this year compared to last year. And the last kind of data point was awareness of the event. Around this year and last year, we've had around 40% awareness rate of those who find the ducks being aware of the event. And that's actually pretty good in the sense that we're still trying to spread awareness. So if about half of the people are aware of finding the ducks, that means those who aren't, we're spreading that awareness and more people will know about it. And we're hoping that this can become an event that the community can look forward to each summer. We've already gotten very good feedback about this from families getting excited, even people, just older adults getting excited that it encouraged them to go out after getting knee replacement surgery. We got feedback one year. One kid who didn't really want to go out, wanted to sit home and play video games. The parent said that got them excited to actually go out and walking with the family. So we know that this is definitely something that's getting families active in the summer. So that is the duck hunt event. So the second program that I was going to talk about today is the Healthy Little Chefs program. And you're halfway into that. That is a monthly cooking class for 5 to 8-year-olds that we've partnered with at the library. And the library has a Charlie cart. It's about this big, and it's a mobile kitchen, essentially. It has everything you need. It has a little oven, a hot plate, a sink, a bunch of kitchen supplies. And the library had also received a grant that allowed them to get additional supplies that were needed that the cart didn't include, that we were allowed access to. And with this, we were able to teach these kids basic cooking skills so that they got comfortable with kitchen etiquette, knowing how to use like safety knives, and understanding how recipes come together, comfortable with measuring ingredients, basic nutrition. And what was great about this is that we were able to also survey the parents after each class to see the effects on their child. And 61% of the parents reported that after the kid, after 1 or 2 classes, or 1 or more, 61% increased their fruit consumption. And 52% of surveyed parents reported that their kids increased their veggie consumption after attending 1 or more classes. We had 100% of families say that after attending 1 or more classes, they tried new recipes or cooked more food from scratch. And then 96% of the parents reported that their child showed more interest in cooking at home or helping with meal preparation at home after attending at least 1 or more classes. And one reason I'm really so passionate about this program is that a lot of data has come to show that when it comes to nutrition and healthy eating habits, one big barrier is not knowing how to prepare certain meals or cook meals or knowing what to do with food. Which is why if you get these kids at a young age comfortable with being in the kitchen, comfortable with working with food, that's going to empower them a lot more as they get older to be able to know what to do with their pantry, know what to do what's in their fridge, and get comfortable with basic nutrition concepts and knowing that they can create healthy meals for themselves and get comfortable with even exploring new flavors. We had a class where the kids got to try basil for the first time, and some of them were very unfamiliar with it. They looked at it and they thought it was lettuce or spinach. We had to pass out little pieces and said, taste it, trust us, it's not spinach, it's not lettuce, and they were all surprised, and at least half the kids later reported that they were surprised that they liked it and that they wanted basil on their pizza from then on forward and in their pasta. So those are the programs I was here to talk about, and I did want to leave any opportunities for questions about either the duck hunt or the Healthy Little Chefs program, if any.
Do any board members have questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I actually assisted Kirsten last week at the library doing the class, and it was actually a lot of fun to watch the kids, how excited they were, and that they enjoyed, things that they didn't think they would. One thing also with the program that you didn't mention, that the participants get healthy little cookbooks.
Oh, yes. Yeah, with another partnership with the Healthy Little Chefs program is that with each class, a kid will get an apron and a mini cookbook, and then we also raffle off bigger cookbooks, like hardback cookbooks, that they get to have more in-depth, like normally the books that you would just check out from the library or purchase, but we raffle those off as well. And we've had special raffles to where if we had a recipe one time where we made chocolate spinach muffins, and we talked about different smoothies and green smoothies, and we gave out silicone muffin trays and also mini magic bullets blenders.
This is In the library in Franklin,
Yes, yeah, here in Franklin.
any thoughts about expanding that to the kids in the Highlands area?
That would depend on the mobility of the Charlie cart. So I know that the Macon County Library had just said that their one grant period had ended, so there might be opportunity for expanding that to Highlands. It would just depend on that mobility of the Charlie cart, because Charlie cart comes with a lot of bins, and so we'd have to figure out transportation for that.
What is, do you know what that cart cost? About what it would cost?
I cannot.
Measure that? We could get that though, yeah.
That might be worth knowing. Okay.
I just was curious, how do you let people in the community know about this?
We post them on Facebook, we'll post them, and we also put flyers out in the community as well for both events.
So these 23 kids, I mean, are coming back week after week?
We get a lot of repeat kids coming back. So we're trying to stagger it till we get more new kids, but some of those kids and parents are so on the ball about wanting to get into more classes because their kids love it that sometimes we just can't. We have a wait list usually for each class that's as long as the class list itself. And so.
Any other questions? If not, Kirsten, thank you for your presentation. Thank you. Next, we have Bonnie Morgan.
Hey guys, I'm Bonnie Morgan. I'm the breastfeeding peer counselor here with the WIC program in Macon County. I had the pleasure of working for WIC for 2 years with the peer counselor program and as a supporting member and starting our mother support group, Macon Milk. I've made you guys a few handouts, so feel free to flip through those as I read y'all some information. I love my job, so I tend to ramble on, but if there's any time in the end, I will answer all your questions. As I began as a breastfeeding peer counselor breastfeeding peer counselor, I quickly realized that Macon County lacked local resources and support for breastfeeding families. As a peer counselor, my job is to give breastfeeding support, education, and assistance with basic breastfeeding concerns. But too often I had to refer moms outside of the county for them to receive the care they needed. After many referrals to Harris Regional Lactation Support, I was contacted by Georgiana Cogburn, our regional lactation trainer with MAHEC. She contacted me and connected me with like-minded individuals, and from there Macon Milk was formed. Designed to be a local mother support group offering free lactation services right here in Macon County. Macon Milk was developed as a local extension of Harris's Lactation Support Group in partnership with WIC to bring accessible breastfeeding support directly to Macon County families. Harris Regional and MAHEC provide the IBCLCs each week, and I'm the WIC breastfeeding support since I work with a large majority of our lower income families when it comes to feeding their babies. After meeting with Kathy, it was decided that the health department would be the perfect location where we could bring everyone together to provide these services. We were initially to meet twice a month, and provide lactation support, peer support, weight checks for infants, and socialization for our local moms who were experiencing the early stages of motherhood. As attendance increased, it was evident that Macon Milk was something special. We decided to make meetings weekly and have continued to do so for the past year and a half, and have been very successful. On average, Macon Milk has 7 to 8 mothers attend group with their infants. It occasionally can get crowded, but we love having a full room. We recently had 13 mothers attend and bring 15 babies. So this was our biggest group yet, and this room was very full. Each week, we meet new moms and are met with new breastfeeding challenges. We assist our families in navigating through those breastfeeding challenges and supporting them through the emotional ones. Through this group, moms can connect with others, feel supported, and receive the care they deserve. I gave you guys some information on the attachments that reflect Macon County's breastfeeding rates and WIC participation when it comes to breastfeeding. This data shows improvement over the previous years, and we are now qualified to apply for the Breastfeeding Award of Excellence again this year. Feel free to review those statistics as you want to. I also have some handouts here that I'll I'll sit here, and if you want to pass them down, you can. It's just a little bit more information about WIC and how we value breastfeeding and how our collaboration with Macon Milk increases those rates. WIC encourages families to breastfeed through the first year and provide additional food assistance for families who choose to breastfeed. We educate and promote breastfeeding whenever possible to increase these breastfeeding rates. With WIC, having the opportunity to work alongside Macon Milk not only increases our breastfeeding rates, but it also increases our WIC participation. Moms who attend are aware that WIC staff members will be at every group to ensure their questions or concerns are met. Macon County provides our WIC families with extended support that they need to prolong and start their breastfeeding journeys. 80 to 90% of our families who attend Macon Milk are already participating in WIC, and they appreciate the convenience of having access to lactation services free of charge in their county residence. I have some additional handouts for anyone who may be interested here with the programs I've mentioned today. So if anybody needs those, you can get those to the public too. Macon Milk has continued to exceed every expectation and goal we have made. Compared to others, Macon Milk is the only group providing free lactation support services with having numbers as high as ours. Macon Milk families no longer have to cross county lines to receive the support they need with lactation. Macon Milk is inclusive, whether it's breastfeeding, formula feeding, combination feeding, everyone is welcome. We also support Spanish-speaking moms and families, providing translation as needed so everyone can receive the care they truly deserve. We encourage all moms to join, regardless of income or insurance status. By bridging these common barriers, we can better serve our community as a whole. I've attached some anonymous participants' statements about the care they receive through this mother support group, so please feel free to review those. I also want to recognize some of the women that are behind this amazing group, not to take away from my contribution or pride that I have for this group, but to really emphasize those who were a major influence in bringing Macon Milk. Brenda Harrison, she's an IBCLC with NAHEC. She played a vital role in launching Macon Milk. She brings expertise, encouragement, and empowerment to mothers to feed their babies with confidence. Brandy owns Birthstone Wellness Center in Jackson County, now a nonprofit. And she was a valuable resource for many of my WIC families, especially in the beginning when I had no resources to send my families to. Her business includes an informal milk sharing hub, which we can also refer moms to, that connects moms who need and can donate breast milk. During Hurricane Helene, she spent weeks ensuring that babies were fed despite the formula shortage that we've had to combat with. And her passion for lactation care has been a vital part to start up Macon Milk and has helped educate our moms each week when she's able to attend. And last but not least, Beth Hodges. She's another IBCLC. She's a labor delivery nurse from Harris and our devoted IBCLC that comes to group each week. Beth leads Macon Milk each week with unmatched dedication. As a Macon County local and a homeschooling mom of 7, she's truly the heart of our program. Her compassionate, welcoming approach creates a safe place where moms feel heard and supported. She volunteers her time generously as she helps moms not only at group but outside of group. Beth also works with Harris Lactation Team in Silva so she can see families on Wednesdays as needed. Her deep connection with each mom fosters a strong sense of community, and her presence is a major reason that families keep coming back. She brings a positive attitude to every meeting and shows her unwavering dedication to support our moms. She is truly the face that everyone comes to see, and we are so blessed to have her. Before I wrap up today, I would like to invite all of you guys to our first annual event. It is called Macon the Milky Way, a community celebration of breastfeeding happening during Hispanic Breastfeeding Week in August. We'll have free family activities, door prizes, a group latch-on event. We hope this festival becomes a yearly tradition as support grows, and we would love to see you all there. Thank you all for taking part in the services provided by Macon County and for inviting me to present Macon Milk and its role to our community. Before I go, does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Question. Have there been any comments from mothers who are breastfeeding about not being welcome in certain businesses or places when they're breastfeeding?
Not necessarily not being welcomed, but feeling uncomfortable or shunned because there's not a private breastfeeding area, but they might get like ugly looks or maybe something like that from more of the public and not so much of the business owners. Yes, ma'am.
Obviously, this is great, thank you for sharing. But these women obviously would become very close to you, and there might be times when you could see like postpartum depression. Is there something in place to where you can alert the right individuals to that?
We actually encountered a mom recently who was really struggling, and we bent over backwards. I know Christina helped me a lot to find her the resources. I mean, she happened to be a veteran, so we got her veteran resources. We helped her. I can't think of the exact resource, but there is a walk-in clinic available somewhere in Franklin. I think it's called Blue. I can't remember it, to be honest. But we do have a list of resources available for if we encounter those situations. And Beth, working with Harris Hospital and working out in Silva, she also has resources available closer to the outside of the county. So any questions? Yes, sir.
Do you have someone that can counsel mothers on the importance of knowing what medications they may take and what may be in the breast milk and not be in the breast milk?
So that is outside of my scope, but that is something that we have Beth for. She can counsel moms better on that than I can. So I typically refer moms directly to Beth on Fridays if someone asks me direct questions about what their medication and what that can affect them negatively as far as pregnancy and breastfeeding goes. But we also have the Hales medication book on breastfeeding, and we are allowed to copy that resource and give it to our moms. And then there's also Mother to Baby. It's a resource that they're able to call or text anytime and ask anonymously how something may be affecting their child. Anyone else?
Any other questions? If not, thank you very much for the presentation.
I've attached my contact information on y'all's folder if anybody needs anything. All right, thank you.
Okay, let's go to approval of minutes of the two different meetings. Is there a motion on the first meeting, the 5/27/25 meeting?
I have a comment about that.
Sure.
I wasn't sure, I looked at the minutes, and I think I remember that was a meeting, if I'm mistaken, when Mr. Sherrill made the comment that as developers, they bring a lot of money to the county, and maybe because of that, they don't have to pay the fees for the permits and stuff that they're seeking from the health department. Was that meeting that was a comment made? Can we remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like that to, if we can amend the minutes to reflect that.
Where in the minutes, Charlie?
Where in the minutes?
Yeah, is there a particular place you think it should be inserted?
There was a section about the fees. We talked a lot about the fees.
Septic fees.
Fee schedule?
Okay, I see. Are any other additions or corrections in the minutes? Did I get a motion? I can't remember. Did I hear a motion to approve that? Can I hear a motion?
With the amended changes.
With the amended change or addition?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second? Second. There's no other questions. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, and then the minutes for the special meeting on 7/17. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the 7/17/25 minutes. Nobody wants to make a motion?
Still reading.
Still reading, okay. Any motions yet? Hearing no motions, I'm going to table that approval. Okay, moving on, under old business, environmental health update. Lisa? I think Lisa's outside.
I just saw her.
I do too. Matt, can you see if Lisa's
Guys, how are y'all? I'm just going to give you a real quick update on environmental health. First, I'm going to start off with Cloud Permit. That is the company that we are going through in order to get all of our applications online to be able to be processed. As of today, all of our applications for environmental health are to them, and now they will take that in the next 2 weeks, be able to fix that and transfigure that into a way that we will actually then try to test that product. So they will give us about 3 weeks. They want us to try to break the product. They want us to go through every application and assume all of the different ways that it could be configured and see if there's any glitches before we actually go live with that. With Cloud Permit, there are 3 different components. One would be licensing, which encompasses like food and lodging, and on the building side of it, there's some miscellaneous and some fireworks that goes with licensing. Land use has more to do with erosion control, and it also encompasses wells and septic on our part, environmental health. And then there's the building component of that. So there's Cloud Permit with 1, 2, and 3, but as right now, licensing, and I know that septic and the well are to land use, and they are working on that. So it looks like after September, if everything goes right, we're looking at October 1st being able to go live. I have spoken with others that are in the program, and they would like for us to go live all together. So not just one section go live with licensing, land use, and building, for us actually to be able to go live all together at one time, so that everybody's on one page instead of going in 3 different pages. So we agree on that. We're integrating GIS, Laserfish, all of that stuff. It takes time to get that together, but it's going to slow us down, I think, starting out, but in the long run, futuristically, it's going to be a great function for us. So I'm excited about it. We have weekly meetings, Tuesdays at 11, Wednesdays at 9, and Fridays at 1. It's been this way for quite some time. And we're going to continue those meetings. Those meetings have now gone from 1 hour to 2 hours to try to be able to get as much information as we can possibly into that. Anybody got any questions?
Sure. So the people who have put in an application yesterday, are you saying it's going to be October?
No.
So you'll still continue that current process, and this will be just, you will add them in there for...
So what this is this has nothing to do with the public right now.
Okay.
But futuristically, this is how they will apply. So everything is normal business as usual right now until this Cloud Permit takes over and we go live.
So the people who already have put in permits are not going to be delayed?
No. This, when I say delayed, it's basically a user education. So there's going to be some time where it takes us to be able to explain to contractors and to builders and septic installers and things like that, to be able to let them understand what it is that we're asking for. So it's more education on our part. I've informed our staff that we'll spend that time with them. Time spent up front will help us in the back. So if we can help process this, then it's going to be a speedier process in the end. So, yes.
Been through lots of different changes, going to computer systems over time.
Yes.
And obviously, you just can't predict what's gonna happen down the road. So I'm curious what the support system looks like. Do you have like a 1-year, 3-year support system?
So
with this
IT
team?
is with us on that, and so they are behind the scenes taking care of all the support that they will give us. I know with Cloud Permit, they have been super supportive in the meetings that they have given us. The information, what they ask for is very clear, and we've been able to communicate very effectively with Cloud Permit. It's been well so far.
But then like after the go live, do you have like a post go live
I'm
contract?
positive, Courtney, there
Okay.
is. I don't know, I'm sure IT could speak more to that. I kind of let the behind the scenes, how that all works. If you've never watched a computer program be built, it's very crazy. Something that's beyond my pay scale altogether, but you want to watch it. Any other
You
questions?
said that when you go live in October, that there may be a slowdown or delay.
What I was meaning on that slowdown and delay is being able to explain to you coming in to put in your application how this is now done. So I may sit with you and help you through that process. Not on our part, but on the processor's part. So like you turn in the application, I'm going to have to help you maybe, because you might not understand this program. It's not like I'm giving you a piece of paper. We're going to help you and guide you through that and hold your hand until we can get that process fixed.
Do you have any projections as to how much the delay because of that will be?
Like I said, it's not going to be a delay on our workers' part. It's going to be just an educational, a learning curve, might you say.
For the builders,
No,
developers?
yeah, for the builders and the installers and people turning in those applications. But like I said, the more education we give them up front will help us in the back.
John, do you have any questions? I know this is an important issue to you.
Nope, I'm just listening.
Have you heard of Cloud Permit before? Have you?
Yeah, but there are people out here, like myself, that don't have computers and all this other stuff. And so, just like the presentation earlier, we announce this, we advertise it on Facebook. Well, that's all well and good, but there are many people that don't have, and actually, and it's sad, but I have no desire to go to computers and everything in my world. So,
And we're still going to have the paper form. We're still going to have those people that are going to need that, and that's still going to be available. We're not turning everybody away and turning them on solely onto a computer.
Right.
We understand that. You get some of the different people that we're going to help them. So whatever way is easier for you, but some of these contractors, they're going to want this. And so, like I said, education will be the main part of it. Any other questions? All right, do you want to hear about environmental health now? All right. So I just want to kind of give you an update. This is going to be like a 6-month average for environmental health. So research request, when people call in to ask about a certain type of property, it's called a research request. We average 124 of those a month. Okay. This is from January to June. We usually take about 1 to 2 days to get those research requests back to you. So we will, everybody in the department, whether it be food and lodging, wells, septic, the girls up front, we will look at those research requests and find the information if we can. A lot of times people are asking for things that are older and we don't have that paperwork for them. But we will try our very best to get back to you within 1 or 2 days of that, either by phone, by email, or some sort of communication. Sometimes they're willing to wait in the lobby if they need it right then, and we'll be more than glad to try to work on that. So, on septic, on the average new application rate, again, this for 6 months, it's 42. The average, the average permit issue is 85. So you see the 42 and 85. doesn't add up in your head, but for every application, there's 2 permits that get issued. So that is where you'll see the difference in the numbers. You get the first permit to be able to put it in the ground, and the second permit is when it's done. So every application has 2 permits. Does anybody have any questions on that? That is the IPCA, and that is the operation permit.
What's the current turnaround time?
2 weeks. 2 weeks right now, and we have 16 applications in the box. And on another note on septic, we now have 4 full-time authorized septic inspectors. So that is fantastic. We just got our last 2 last week. So this is the most we've had in a while, and excited to see what's going to come of that. Our average visits are 109 for septic. The well average new application is 21, and the average permit issued is 32. Again, with every well, there is 2. The certificate of, construction authorization and the certificate of completion. Does that make sense to everybody that there's 2 for everyone? Just want to make sure. Average visits are 83. We have 2 techs that are part-time that actually go out and take water samples for us. So our visits have increased getting those water samples done. So every new well gets a water sample, and we have to take that and send that off to the state, and we also do the bacterial analysis in the lab. Food and lodging, we have an average inspection rate of 57 a month. We have an average visit of 40 a month, and we had a 92% inspection rate for the last fiscal year. So I think that's pretty impressive with 3 ladies that run that program, 92%. I'd like to see that back at 100, but we're going to have some more help to be able to reach that 100. Currently, we have 4 new establishments that we are reviewing for a restaurant, and that sometimes takes some time. Sometimes it takes going back and forth. If you've ever opened a restaurant, it's a time-consuming process. Y'all have any questions about any of those numbers or figures? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Melissa?
So this won't take but just a second. So, as you know, a few months ago, I presented the FY26 budget that we were requesting for this next year. In your packets, the first one that you'll find are the approved budget expenses. This is the finalized budget after it went through the commissioners of what we will have to go through the FY26 year. The papers after that are the approved revenues that were approved through the budget for the FY26 year. Not too many changes were made after it was presented here before it went to the county commissioners. Most of our meetings had taken place. This is just the final copy. One thing that I can say that was not included in the budget for the FY26 year was due to the proposal going out for animal services, no new permanent staff members were asked for in the 26 budget. Currently, we're running on non-reoccurring funds to cover the positions that we currently have until we know what's going to happen with that proposal. Does anyone have any questions about the final numbers for the budget?
Care coordination for children, that really dropped.
So that program and the OBCM program are 2 programs that we, I won't say totally done away with, but partially done away with. We did have full-time associate in those, but we are now running just on a contracted position. to cover those and just covering a certain amount of need that we are required to by the state.
What is the private drinking water? That's a big.
That is the well program.
And this-
So you'll see on the well program and food and lodging and the on-site for the approved budget, they look kind of quirky. That's because we kind of realigned staff into the programs that they should have been in, different from the prior year. So all that did was kind of rearrange a little bit of staff.
And so what is food and lodging?
The food and lodging is ones that Lisa just talked to, that goes out and they inspect the restaurants, the hotels, the swimming pools. The private drinking covers all the well programs, all the water testing kits, and then your on-site is your septic permits.
I know that there's some positions that they're looking to fill. If there's an open position, is it already accounted for in the budget?
Yes, any of our normal vacant positions that we had are already accounted for.
Okay.
So the big reductions, does that include reduction in staff or?
For which programs? For on-site, or excuse me, for wells and food and lodging?
Yes.
So basically what we did, staff was realigned and they got kind of staggered. A typical setup is 5 wastewater people, 2 well people, and then 3, correct me if I'm wrong, 4 in food and lodging. So what that did is we just realigned them to put the 2 back in wells, the 5 back in on-site, and the 4 back into the food and lodging program. So we just rearranged them within those programs.
Can you quickly speak to the OB care management program going down?
So that was one of the programs, and Jennifer maybe will speak more on that. It ran along with the CC4C. We've seen care
They're
for
managed Medicaid
pregnant
programs.
women.
Yeah, they're managed Medicaid programs that we are required to have. We had a social worker here that was managing both those programs. The social worker left. We advertised the position for a nurse for one of those positions for quite a few years. We couldn't get anyone to hire in for those positions. So we decided to contract through the Alliance for the position. And now we just manage children that are Medicaid direct. We still draw funding down for this program. We just have someone doing the program outside the building through a contract position.
I guess more of a comment here, I would just say like, because we don't have, OB at our hospital here, I would just want to make sure that, would we ever lose that contract position? Like, I just want to make sure that it's available.
So we can't, we've gone down as far as we can go on that program, but we can't lose the program. I mean, the state won't let us. We have to maintain it because it's a Medicaid-based program.
Okay.
You do pre-delivery care here, correct?
Yes.
So basically, that position is designed to make sure that the pregnant women, once they've been identified as being pregnant, they go through this risk screen and they fill out this risk screening. Once a woman finds out she's pregnant. Once you complete the risk screen, they are given a score. And that score, it determines whether or not they need care management. If they need care management and they have insurance or they have like Medicaid and they have the like Blue Cross and Blue Shield and all those that go with it, they get referred to those companies and they do their case management. But we just do the Medicaid direct one. So and the person that does that talks to the people in our county. She does it by telehealth. And she does the care for them here, and if she needs to hook somebody into something, she calls me. I let her know what services are available for the people, and then we facilitate what she needs to get for them. Unfortunately, those programs also have a lot of benefits, but they're all in Asheville, so our people don't really get a whole lot of the benefits. One of the programs has a hospitality house where people can go get diapers, formula, baby wipes, all this stuff, but it's in Asheville. So there's no transportation for those people to get to go there. So it can be a bit frustrating for some people.
Seems a lot easier to transport this stuff than people in here.
It seems that way, but
The Dogwood Trust grant, what is that for? You didn't have it in the past year? On the last page, $34,000.
That is one of the mountain wise. Can you check it
Yeah,
and elaborate on that?
the Dogwood Health Trust is a 5-year grant that we did have it last year. I don't know why that's.
It's
That,
how municipal, but
yeah, so that's one of the, Lori has us, we don't budget for it up front. Once we get the budget's approved, it's grant funding that we get told how much we have carryover and how much we're getting for the year, and then we start off the year with that grant amount. It's special funding. It's all grant funded.
Are there any other questions? If not, thank you. Okay, I'm going to, under new business. Kathy?
Yeah, just as a follow-up, I think that the board has decided to work on definitely the complaint process that we have. And just to clarify, we have programs that have a complaint process already written in policy. For example, environmental health actually has state rules that apply. So we have where the public can call in or come in and file a complaint with environmental health. Same for animal services. So we have, and then we have as an agency a consumer complaint policy where we handle complaints from consumers just on various things. There is discussion about we don't have a agency policy and necessarily for a employee complaint process. We do follow a process, and it's described in the orientation to our staff about how they can voice their concerns and their complaints. And the question is, do we want to look at that as a board and work on that as a board? And we had talked about it previous months and had formed a subcommittee to do that. It just hasn't moved forward, so here to talk about that with you. And of course, your contact information and how you want to publicize that and how you want resolutions to complaints circled up to make sure everybody's informed about resolutions. So.
Back on the complaint process for employees, are we using the county county policy on that?
Well, I don't think there is a county policy for complaints.
We don't necessarily have a complaint process. We have a grievance process where if you're talking about employees, the employees can file a grievance with the next level supervisor up if it's against a supervisor. If it's against an employee, then it goes to the direct supervisor. If it's against a supervisor, it goes up to the next level, and there's a process in our personnel policy to do that. We don't call it a complaint process, but it's a grievance policy.
On the contact information, we talked about making the board members, or at least those that are willing, to be accessible to receive complaints from the public or from any place. We talked about listing the names, a phone number contact, a cell phone, and a email. Is there any more discussion on that, on doing that?
Yeah, I have a quick comment about the complaint process. I think that you guys are have a good process set up, and it's explain to the people that start in a very intermediate type time period. Could we have all complaints that are about a supervisor brought to the board to this meeting? Just so that we have like awareness if there's something about a superior. Is that reasonable? I don't think we should do every complaint, to the board, but I think maybe the board should look at complaints that are talking about like direct supervisors.
I think that's something definitely worthy to discuss.
Which there's been
and I mean, we
zero,
would have to come into closed session,
Yeah.
obviously, to do that.
I just think in the time, like a time period for right now, we might not do it for the end of time, but like, I think it would be good for us to go into closed session and talk about those pieces. Second comment is around contact information. Just something I was thinking about is, like, would it make sense to only utilize email so that maybe things are always in writing versus a cell phone? Or do you guys have any comments there on cell phone versus email? I don't care either way.
Yeah, I don't mind. I would say I have no problem putting my contact information available. I guess that'd be a question, maybe for the two of you, or maybe for Eric. No, he's not here, but Courtney's question about emails versus phones, that's probably who I would ask about that, but you guys seen any?
If some people don't have computers or whatever, email may be a problem, so probably need to have both.
How does the county commissioners, how do you do it?
Good
How do you
both.
list it?
They're both out there. I get more calls than I get emails, but most of the calls are text messages.
How do you record the call? How do you document that? So you can document an email, but how do you document a call?
But a lot of people will call and talk to you or meet you with no paper trail until the paper trail time comes out. And we said it before. In fear of retaliation and everything else. So most people that call and complain about whatever they're complaining about, what they do is they give me a path to start researching what they're complaining about. And then, but ultimately the ones that are complaining are the very ones that have to eventually come forward in public once they get there.
For that point.
Yeah. And so I usually get a lot of stuff in the mail with no return address, no name, and it's hard to do anything with it. But an email, some people don't want that tracking information out there at the time. It's difficult. I mean, my stuff is out there, my phone, my county email and all that stuff, so by all means, I want whoever to contact me.
I usually just say, I'm taking, give me a second, I'm writing this down, taking some notes.
Yeah.
I may need this later. And most people don't. Somebody may say, well, please don't share this.
Any estimate on the percentage, since you take a lot of calls and complaints, that come to fruition? What percentage do you really see being significant over time? Any thought on that or any information on that?
It's just a lot of action, a lot of stuff that's working right now throughout the county that, you take the complaints and you start researching, and then we go to our go-to county manager, HR, and county attorney. This is what information we have. We need to start looking into this. The comments about the disgruntled employees. Well, you can tell whether that person is really sincere or they're just upset or they're tired or whatever. So, but when you have the same information out of several different people, there's an issue.
So you do get a fair amount of venting going on.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as a businessman in my business, absolutely, I listen to employees all the time venting and stuff, so.
And I would say from,
I would imagine that most of the, well, not most, but many complaints go directly into the manager's office. Do you have a feel for how many the commissioners get versus ones that go straight to the county government?
Well, I can't speak for the county HR. I can only speak for what I get, and it's, you know, it's a broad spectrum of the complaints. It's not the health department. It's all the way across the board, and
Yeah, so it's hard to really put a number on because there are so many issues that throughout the county, whether it's something with the DOT or the health department or the rec part or whatever it is, and it's usually just, I think it's a lot of people that just feel comfortable reaching out to the person. So a lot of times I'll get a complaint and they'll say, I've already talked to Josh or I've already talked to Danny or whoever, so you kind of they're going through the basis there. I don't know, but it's a lot, I can tell you that.
I mean, from people.
Percentage of your time, how many hours a week on average are you tied up with complaints?
Whenever the phone rings.
Well,
No, I mean, it's not always complaints, and it's things that, you know, we really can't address. I had just an example. I had someone call and complain about a tree that was laying over their road. Well, why can't the county come and take care of that? Well, that's not what we do. We don't own the roads, that's state. But, so then we just went through the chain of command. Our county manager got that, and he dealt with it. But, you know, those things, the state didn't do this, or the state didn't do that, or, you know, it's just, it's countywide. I mean,
You spend a lot of time with complaints? Every week?
Yeah, I mean,
there's some.
And what we discussed last time is they have a process in place already where, you know, it goes to HR and then, or supervisor, either one, and then you can take things directly to Kathy if necessary. And so we would be kind of after that. Like, we would probably reiterate if it's an employee, like, you need to go through the appropriate processes within the health department, correct? So I do think that, you know, it would not be in the same setting as this. Because if we were to take a consumer complaint,
Well, if someone called me about
what would we do? What would we
a
do?
dog with worms, I would be like,
Yeah, what would we do?
I'd send them
I don't see our role as board members of fixing a rabid dog, right?
Yeah.
I would hand that over to the appropriate people. And that's my biggest fear, is getting a bunch of calls about stuff, that I don't know what to do with, because I don't work at the health department. And so I think I'm okay with putting numbers and emails out there to maybe better serve the public, but I think we need a good, clear process in place
To pass them on.
of where they go and what, you know, obviously reporting. I mean, I would think my responsibility would be to take the call, take notes, and then forward that on to someone, maybe you, and then maybe follow up with that person and say, this is what I've done, is that acceptable? And then hopefully I'm kind of standby so I can kind of hear back what's going on.
Right.
But I don't want to own the complaints and run around and try to fix things like that unless someone else can fix.
Right, I agree.
Matt, I cut you off, I'm sorry.
oh, I was just going to say earlier, with having our email listed, again, I'm in favor of that, but if you guys have county emails listed, we'd have to obviously list personal emails, and from my experience several on other boards, including the Chamber of Commerce, you will get quite a bit of spam that maybe because of your emails listed on the website, so I would just be aware of that, just sort of comment of.
I think we can create county emails if that is something that is just like a temporary county email.
Yeah, I mean, if you prefer that you want something that's separate from your work email or personal, there's no reason that we couldn't obviously set that up. We can set up individuals, we can set up one, we can set up whatever you want to do, we can certainly try to work.
That would be important to me. That's okay.
Is there general agreement that we should go ahead and list that information? Are there any that on their members now that would not want to have that offer their information?
I would like to alter what's in the book, so I can't use my work, I want my work email for work, but I don't want my work email for,
Yes.
yeah.
No.
Yes,
Same. Yeah, and I think just a reiteration that like sharing our contact information is not necessarily for fielding all complaints of the county.
Right.
This is really to close the loop of like, you know, if you don't feel like you're being taken care of as an employee, or, you know, if you're not getting the right action or that you feel, then this is the person outside of the health department that you can kind of go to close that loop. So it should be infrequent.
Would
in
it
my
be
eyes.
appropriate for you to talk about the latest one we had, just recently, about the bike? So this right here would give you an example of how we as county commissioners come into play with it, and the county manager and HR.
So we were made aware of a concern that a citizen had about an incident that occurred involving an animal. I passed that on to the health director and the person that was over the animal situation. I also informed our 2 liaison board members, and then the way it resolved is they had emailed me back that there had already been some action taken to answer that question, and then I forwarded that information back on to the board members. So that's kind of how our accountability works on my end, is I would take it and send it to the departments and make sure my folks that are involved know. And then once we get a resolution to it, then I send that back to those folks to make sure they know that it's handled. And then I actually made a phone call to the individual that complained and left a message and said, hey, I got your information, and we're going to follow up on it. That's typically how I handle stuff on our end.
But I would like to, it may not be the appropriate time, but I'm going to anyways. I think there's a lot of confusion out there in the community and this board and the health department as a whole. Our ultimate goal is not, as city commissioners, to take over everything with the health department. I think what our goal is to have the employees of the health department the same as all the other county employees. And they can go through this chain of command, the county manager and the county HR director. And that, in my vote, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't have people out here complaining about measles outbreak and what doctors do to it and what the health department does to it. So most of the complaints that we're getting is either community members about septic permits and stuff like this, and employees. Most of my complaints in the health department has been employees and has been ongoing. And what you said just a minute ago about we have everything in place for the employees to go. Well, in our special called meeting, if you listen to the employees, they went through that. They talked to the people that they were supposed to have talked to, and they didn't get action. Oh yeah. Is that not what was said? Absolutely it was.
That's, no, that is absolutely not what they said.
So another thing that I'll just go with John on that, the idea is not to take over the Board of Health. I don't think any of us commissioners really want to do that. The idea is, just what you were talking about, Courtney, I don't feel all these complaints. I think everybody, I don't know. Well, if that's what you want to do, if you want to do the Board of Health, that's your responsibility now. So it's either one or the other. So you either want to be the Board of Health and you want to handle the personnel issues, or you want to be the Board of Health and you want someone else to handle those personnel issues. And that's really where, I've gone out and talked to Senator Corbin and Representative Gillespie about the general statute that has some variance in there and allowing for the boards of health and the boards of commissioners all across North Carolina to have an MOU that says, hey, we're the board of health, we understand health, we'll take care of that. And, you know, we can enter into an MOU with the commissioners, and you guys can be personnel that fall under your, you know, HR and county manager, or however that works. So I think that's where, you know, the real disconnect is. And again, I think a lot of that stuff is, you know, some of those things that we were talking about are really for the closed stuff, because you're gonna have to get into some specifics on that. But that's, you know, that's the biggest reservation. It's not a power grab. There's no incentive for us to take over the board of health. It absolutely does nothing for us. We field the complaints. We go to Warren, we say, hey, these are the complaints. You know, what do we do with it? Warren handles whatever he can handle, and he reports back, and there's a follow-up process. Those are the things we're looking for. You know, and like I said, I think we can get into some more of the specifics on personnel in closed session when we get there. But I just, you know, I've been wanting to say that it's not there's nobody on the board of commissioners like, man, can't wait to be the board of health. You know, that's not the idea. The idea is to take a department that is struggling, you know, for whatever reason, and try to make it better. You know, and a lot of those complaints come from within. They come from retired employees. They come from employees that have left. These aren't fake. You've heard a list of complaints, and there's more since then. So, you know, I think that's the idea of, you know, what our goal is, you know, with the board of health and the board of commissioners. And I, with all due respect, I'm not going to debate what has been done or hasn't been done, because.
No, that's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was, if your concern is truly about these employees and the complaints that they're bringing to you, neither one of you have yet to provide us with those employees' information to deal with those complaints.
So you're telling me in closed session when I read 6 pages of
Were
complaints?
those complaints to you? Were those
Well,
complaints?
yeah, the back half of the.
So those people contacted you?
me.
They contacted you in that
Some of those
list?
people were.
They weren't directly?
No.
I have the list right here that just came in.
Part of those were
that's
handwritten notes.
great.
Yes.
Since our last meeting. So
Okay, so you're saying I just want to get this clear, because that's not what was said in closed session. You said that those were complaints that
I
came.
can't talk about what I said in closed session, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't.
So in the order of trying to like fix, you know, back to the fact that we didn't find out about these issues until a month ago. So my suggestion for fixing it, like moving forward, like I can't fix anything in the past, is a similar scenario where essentially we work with Jessica and we work with Kathy. Kathy is Warren in the example that you gave earlier. If we have an issue, we'll work with Kathy. She will get it to the departments and then she'll report back to us resolution. And that's essentially what you guys are suggesting, you know, the county would offer. But we're also suggesting the same thing, just without you guys, right? And so that's I think the way forward if we want to stay
I just think there has to be a willingness
autonomy.
of the board of health to say, we're going to take these complaints. Because there's going to be, as of right now, there's a lot of them.
Right, but I'm not an elected paid official, and so we have to, like, I'm fine with taking the complaints, totally fine. But we need to make sure we have a, like, order in place to where
And
it
you need
gets
to
to
hold
the
me
right process.
We'll establish
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
because obviously, we're not going to solve the problem ourselves.
And Commissioner Breeden said it really well. As an elected official, our job is not to handle day-to-day operations. We have paid employees for day-to-day operations. As a Board of Health, you cannot address something that happens at 9 o'clock in the morning and be here by 10:30 to address it.
Well, that's what they're for, right?
Right.
Well, that's exactly right. But how did we get to where we are?
Because you guys have a big list of complaints
Yeah.
Didn't tell us about it.
Well, you've been on the Board of Health forever.
And told, right.
Okay, I'm not gonna
And
get
told us
in this
in an open
debate.
session, and desecrated her reputation, which is inappropriate.
We'll
That's
deal
what
with this in
happened. That's
closed
what happened.
session.
It's on video, watch it.
Well, I did,
Right.
twice.
That's how we got here, sir.
Yeah, no, we
That's
got
how
here because I've been on the Board of Health for how long?
We're here because you didn't share these complaints. You had them for how long? And then you said, we want to meet with you guys, look. And we said, what?
And you cared to know they had.
If, the thing is, the disconnect is that what you didn't do is present them to.
Oh, it's my fault that the health department's all the people.
I think the disconnect, let me just say something, I think the disconnect is.
You're way out of line.
Did I say that? Are you recording this?
Yeah.
Okay. So watch this back.
Yeah.
You didn't share the
I'm not
complaint, you didn't share the complaints. We didn't know. So what needs to happen is you share the complaints and we deal with it.
No, the health department just needs to be ran smoothly and there are no complaints. How about that?
Like our country, right?
Yeah. Okay.
As a fairly new member of this board, I'm not qualified to make personnel decisions. I can make health decisions, but I'm not qualified to make personnel decisions. And I don't really feel comfortable doing that. So I'm not sure how that's handled, but that's how I feel. I'm a medical doctor. I'm not trained to do personnel issues. I don't think you'll ever have a time when you don't have complaints, but how they're handled and who's going to handle them, that's something beyond my scope.
You guys are ignoring the staff and the people to do that and saying, you're not doing it, they should go to him. You're ignoring
I
them.
think, again, we're gonna talk about that in closed
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
This
this
is
in
a topic
closed
for
session.
closed session, Charlie, I'm sorry. As much as I'd like to talk about it right this second, we can't and shouldn't, so. We won't, the resolution section of this basically is, I think that when one of us starts the process of getting a complaint from somebody about something, and we pass it on, that we have to have a system that gets back to us to tell us that it was resolved, and if we want to know specifically how, we can find out.
Well, there are certain things though that disciplinary actions that we wouldn't be able to provide you that
Well, I
information.
want to know if you
Right.
resolved it.
Right, and we can tell you that,
And
but,
everybody, including the commissioners, when they get complaints, I'm sure they want to know when they get a
Right.
complaint, they pass it on, that it was resolved.
but we may not be able to say a
That's fine.
specific resolution, that's all.
Yeah, we'll have follow-up emails from people in the community with a complaint, and when that complaint is addressed, they will send us a thank you email that it's all great. So, yeah, that's all we need to hear.
A few things, Jerry. A few things are pretty clear to me is that I don't think there's any desire at this board to handle day-to-day operations of the health department. That's not what we're here for. You guys are all, I see a lot of head nodding with that. So I don't think that's, and I don't want to get complaints about that either. But it was very clear at our last meeting, special call meeting, that the Board of Health, our employees here have been instructed not to contact the Board of Health, explicitly told that, which I think is a red flag for a toxic environment somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but I know that it exists, and so I think we need to be contacted for that reason. At least if an employee is making a complaint and it goes through the proper channels, I like what Courtney said, I don't want to handle all those things. But if it goes through the proper channels and there's no resolution, and they need an outlet, and they're being told not to contact the Board of Health, again, to me, that's a red flag. We need to be able to make ourselves available, but I have zero interest in fielding day-to-day complaints. I think we need to make our information available for those things that aren't resolved through the proper channels. And then, I like what Jerry said about, for those specific things, to me, this is not going to be, the day-to-day concerns that go on every day. I don't want to hear about the resolution to the door that came that wouldn't open and somebody got it fixed with maintenance. But for these things that kind of go through the proper channels and there is no resolution or someone feels like they have nowhere to go and we get the contact, if we get the complaint about that, I do want to hear that there is resolution about that. So I think those are kind of the three things. No desire to hear day-to-day concerns, we need to be able to be contacted if this process doesn't work, and no employee should ever be told not to contact us. And then we want to hear resolution for those concerns that do make it to us.
Okay, any more discussion under new business? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I just comment, sorry. Do we need to vote on any of the stuff making our contact information available, or like how we would want?
Are moving to
We need to formalize
Monthly
it.
meetings.
monthly
Okay,
meetings?
this is in accordance with General Statute 143-4.
He's saying, before we go into closed session,
Oh, I'm sorry.
do we need to vote
We didn't
on
finish
monthly
new
meetings?
business.
I'm not quite to the meeting schedule yet, just a question if we need to make a motion as a board to, if we want to make some sort of official action item, that's how we want, for what we want to be contacted and how we want to be contacted. So my recommendation would be that, we have, motion would be, if we need a motion, would be to have our contact information available unless a board member specifically does not desire to have that listed. And that we're contacted for complaints that, if gone through the proper channels, don't see resolution, that we can be contacted for those things. And that we hear what resolution was achieved for that specific complaint. That's a long motion.
That's the motions or second?
I second that. I would second that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any further discussion about that?
yeah, again, just,
I was kind of piecing together some things that I
I
heard.
mean, I love what you said, but I think it's gonna be hard to get people to not call for anything and everything. They're just gonna do
And
it.
I agree with that.
They can explain it to them, but.
and I think it knows we refer that, because if someone calls me about a septic permit, I'm going to
That's-
refer that.
that's
If
exactly right.
someone calls me about personnel issues, then that's be something that I would take on until it's.
Well, I think we just take the information down. We don't try to offer a resolution. We will then contact the department head the next day or that day and then go from there. And then we can report back to that person afterwards. But don't try to solve it.
Right, yeah.
Just listen and make sure they're heard and take their information
And that it's
and
followed
respond
through on. I
accordingly.
think that's the piece that we have to be heavily involved in.
Right.
Because if a complaint comes in and it just becomes a complaint and nothing is ever done with it,
Right.
then it's just a complaint.
It's a double complaint.
So, follow
We,
through
if
with
this
that is our
passes, this motion
responsibility.
passes, we will come up with some written things to follow for us when we get to.
Well, and I think what we have to do is we have to get that information to all of the employees that currently work here. Because even this week I've heard, that decisions have been made that I know have been made. No, I'm not talking about personal issues, but the staff still don't know it. So that has to be, our numbers, our information that we are available has to be given to the staff. Yeah, I mean, I'll walk in and hand them each a flyer, if that's what it takes, but they have to know it, because I think that's the piece that's not happening right now, is things are being done, but they're not being informed of anything. And so the complaints that they're taking are not, they're valid to a point, because they do not hear back anything. And I understand you can't talk about personal issues, and you can't go back and say that they've been disciplined or whatever, but you still have to follow back up with them. And that's not happening.
Any more discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Now, in accordance with General Statute 143-318, I'm sorry.
We had another agenda item that was added at the beginning of the meeting to discuss our meeting schedule.
Okay.
Item 4B, I guess, under new business. I wanted to add that because that was brought up a couple of times during our special call meeting 2 weeks ago. That historically this board has met once a month. Maybe Kathy could give some insight to maybe when that changed, why it changed, because now we meet every other month. And we might want to consider, at least in the short term or back in the long term, meeting once a month, at least given the follow-up from our meeting and the fact that some of these issues are very public, or have become public. And so, just to consider that. So I thought you might have some insight as to why that happened, how it changed.
It was after COVID, but probably like 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, somewhere in there. There was a few meetings that we just didn't have a lot of meat for the meeting. There was not a lot of points of discussion, and we had covered, a lot of the programs and services that we had, and so the conversation was about making the meetings a little bit more content solid, and so if we didn't meet as frequently, then we'd have more to discuss in one meeting. So that was at the time the conversation is just having a more, your time is of value, your volunteers. We didn't want to just meet to meet. It was really just to make sure that we had solid content for you all, and to make a good meeting.
You said that was about 4 years ago, 5 years?
Yeah.
Not quite that.
Right before I got on
my
the board.
position, so.
Right before I got on the board, that's a little over 3.5 years.
We should be able to find the meeting minutes.
Yeah,
and be able to
I could
provide
look that up
to you back.
specifically.
I would make a motion for us to go to monthly meetings and make sure that we work out all of these details and that we're taking a vested interest into the health department in the now.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
Yeah, I support the motion to the meeting. I think things that I've heard from the commissioners here is that they've got some real concerns and had some complaints, and those have been shared in closed session, and I think the things have been shared publicly is they want to see that these are things that within our authority we take seriously and want to address, and I think our meeting schedule is one way of at least optically doing that. So I would support this motion. There's nothing saying that in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years that someone else could make a motion to go back to monthly meetings. So I fully support the motion.
It's really not a direct point about that motion, but does everyone here know what the responsibility and the obligation of this board is? Do we just come in and we meet once every 2 months? And the real issue here at hand is this board right here is actually completely over this department. They're untouchable by anyone else. If the county manager could handpick who he wanted to serve as the county commissioners, he would go out and he'd pick family and friends, because nobody'd ever oversee anything that he's doing. And that's exactly what's happened in this department. There has been no oversight for a long time in this department. And that's the problem. And so we're talking about day-to-day operations. We're talking about fielding complaints. If I worked in this place and I had a problem with someone and I went to complain, how would I come back in here the next day and face that same person? That's not how complaints work, especially when you complain and nothing's being done about it. But the obligation of this board is to oversee everything that happens in this department. And in my mind, that's what I'm trying to change, is to have someone that's paid by county tax dollars that can oversee this operation day to day. So therefore, that's our obligation as board members. It's not just come in here and meet and go over a couple little things that's going on in the health department and have a nice sandwich and a bottle of water. This is very important. And this, with the complaints that we have heard out of the general public and the staff here, they want results. And I know we're talking about it, but we got to a bad place here. I don't want to come over here and see what everybody's doing every day. Neither do you. But we have paid staff in this county to do this. And that's exactly what we're after.
We have a program for our new board members that's extensive. It talks about what their legal obligations are, what they're supposed to do. We do ongoing online orientation and education to the state programs run by UNC in Chapel Hill. We know what we're supposed to be doing. It doesn't mean that we're doing those things every single meeting. We don't come here for fun to have something deep. We come here to look at the policies that things are run, to oversee our senior administrative person, and we do that. So I highly suggest that you've gone through part of that orientation. There's more to do.
Who votes for the board? Who voted with them?
Yeah, we appointed. Yeah. I've never been part of the health board. So, and as I stated before, I was put on as a liaison to this health board to start investigating what's going on in the health department. And the investigation in my mind is over. I made the announcement at the last meeting. Once this is over, Commissioner Breeden is going to step into my role. And as we said before, I had no clue that all this stuff was being exposed to everybody that was on that board. I had no idea. But, so here we are. And it's serious business. The county taxpayers out here, a lot of them think it's completely wrong that they're paying, their county tax dollars are paying county employees, and the elected body has no oversight in anything that happens. It's this body right here that was appointed by the elected body to handle this. And you can't do it once every 2 months. So once a month, I agree with it 100%. And I think you had made the recommendation before that maybe everybody ought to go into rotation and just come over to the health department from time to time and walk through and check on everybody and see how everybody's feeling and tell people they're doing a good job and all this other stuff. It goes a long ways.
Got the motion in a second.
Yep.
Is there any further discussion on the motion, which is to hold the meetings once a month?
Assuming on the second, fourth Tuesday.
Yeah, the same, the fourth Tuesday.
So no other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion's passed. Okay,
Chair, before we go into closed session, I'd like to ask for a 5-minute recess.
okay. Well, we can do that if we go into closed session. It's going to take time to empty the people out. We can get back and start the session. Okay, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session under section 143-38.
That's what he does. He is the county manager person. He is the CEO of this county.
We still have discussions.
No. Hey, guys.
Can we,
We have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Is there any discussion?
Okay, so no other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're going to session in 5 minutes.
8:05.